What's up, guys? I want to take a moment to compare two different Husky brands utility knives. These are the knives you're going to find at Home Depot. Husky is a Home Depot brand, whereas Cobalt is the Lowe's brand stuff. There's a variety of utility knives like this on the market. I like these. They're very cool. Compared to the traditional ones, the long metal ones, they're kind of a pain. Although they work, there's nothing really wrong with them, but after you actually use those things for a long time and you get paint gunked up on them and stuff, they tend to jam up on you. It's hard to get the blades out. I like the idea, though, if you're regularly a knife person and you really want to have one of these types of knives for, specifically to a job or something like that, and you just don't have the capability of constantly sharpening your standard Foley knives, and you want to just be able to swap out for brand new razor blades. I get that. No shame in that. If you're using this for your job, it's different. Or if you really just want a super, beater knife, something you can look. I mean, you're cutting up carpet or something. You may not want to whip out an Emerson or your Benchmade or your brand new Spyderco or something like that. Although all these knives are made to be used, I still get it. I get it. Part of me is still a collector, and it's hard to use even a hard used knife. Really hard. Something in you cringes when you do it. So I get that. Fine. So let's say you're in the market for one of these, right? There's a slew of these in the market right now. They've been around for years now, where they have a Foley knife design, but utility knife, that takes the replaceable blades. These are just two examples. These are both the different Husky ones. In fact, they even have different models right now. These are roughly 8 months old or so. So I have a smaller model here, all right, and then obviously the larger one, and I want to compare them. As far as price, these sell for about $5. All right, for $5 at Home Depot, you get the small Husky brand. The smaller one here, that takes the smaller blades as compared to the larger one, which takes the larger razor blades. Okay, something to note. The larger blades will be easier to find, period. Even though they do sell these at Home Depot, if you have to get blades anywhere else, the larger ones are the standard razor blade, whereas these small ones are a little bit harder to find. So right off the bat, a little bit of a downside. Overall, I think this one is a heck of a knife. This is a great folding utility knife. Whereas this, for $5, it definitely has its drawbacks, and we're going to talk about that. This one sells for about $9, all right? So it's almost twice the price, but I think it's 3 times the knife, if not more. So right off the bat, let me talk about the cases real quick. The replacement blades for the small one, you have a little plastic case. Okay, opens up. Obviously, you can retrieve the blades that way. I like the design of the larger case, although this is such a small point. You have an exposed part on top here. Okay, the blades are not going to fall out. Okay, you can see they're encased in this black case, which you can remove. You can remove this completely, but there's a spring underneath. All right, so if you want to remove it to put a whole new set of blades in there, you can do that. But the idea behind this is that when this is closed, they're not going to fall out. But if you push down a little bit, just a little bit, you can retrieve one blade, okay, to get your replacement blade. Or if you had your new ones out and you wanted to use this to, say, throw away, if you want to throw your blades away safely, don't just throw a razor blade in the garbage. All right, it's a hazardous material to your garbage men and stuff. You don't want anyone getting cut or hurt. So basically you want to wrap it in tape. But using something like this, you can put your old blades back in the box and then wrap this once with tape and then throw that out. I just like the design better. Plus it's easier to find the blades. So right off the bat, the big one definitely has my vote. All right, so as far as the knives go, the small one does lock shut, whereas the large one does not, okay? That may be a benefit to you. But in order to open this, we have a button lock. Okay, very similar to a button automatic. Same design here, only there's no spring, so it's basically a push button lock. All right, so you push that to unlock it, open it up, okay, and it locks in the open position. Same thing to disengage the lock, you just push down and then close the knife. This does not have a way to open this one-handed, okay? Because you're pushing that down, you don't have another finger to open that up, okay? This is a downside, particularly if you're using a utility knife. You're probably pretty busy on a project of some kind, and you might not have another hand for free, that's free to open this. So it is a two-hand opening knife. That could be a downside to you. Besides that, it almost feels like pot metal to me. I really don't know what material this is, but it does not feel very strong. It does flex. I don't think under normal circumstances it's going to break, but around a construction site or something, depending on what you do, where you're going to be using this knife, it may not be your best option as far as the overall quality. As far as taking the blades in and out, you have to lift up on this bar. When you lift up on that, it basically raises a piece on the inside that unlock from the teeth here. Okay, so to put a new blade in, you lift that up, put your new blade in, all the way down, make sure it's securely in place, and then you're good to go, and of course you can cut. Now while you're using this, obviously a nice feature is you can flip the blade around, so once your blade goes dull, you can use the other side now, all right, before you have to replace the blade entirely. There is a little bit of jimping on the bottom here, okay? A lot of times you're holding it in a grip like this, maybe you're stripping some wire or cutting something, shaving off the edge of sheetrock, who knows what you're doing. But it is nice, there's a little bit of jimping there. Obviously flow through design here. As far as the pocket clip, it sucks. It's horrible. Horrible, horrible pocket clip. Not only is it shoddy in the material, mine bent out. I had to bend it back twice. It doesn't really hold in the pocket very well. And it also holds the knife about half in your pocket, half out of your pocket. It's literally like 55 or 60% up from the bottom. I don't want my knife half in my pocket. I like it to be up higher. They could have mounted this above the pivot area here. Speaking of the pivot, it's adjustable, but you know, you need to either use two pieces of metal, you know, two tips of a pen or something like that to actually turn this. You have to kind of rig it a little bit. Not an easy removable pivot. So that's basically it for the small one. For $5, I wouldn't waste your money. Honestly, I'd pay an extra $3 or $4 to get the big one. Here's the benefits of the big one. First of all, you can open it one-handed, although it's uncomfortable. All right, this is a lockback design as opposed to a push-button lock. All right, now this is the beefiest friggin' lockback I've ever seen. I wish they would make this on a standard knife. I just want to see a buck 110 with a friggin' lockback that's that thick. This thing is a beast. But anyway, so yeah, we have a lockback here. You have a plate behind this button, which you can use to open this one-handed. Granted, it's not comfortable at all. Not in the least bit comfortable, but it's still accessible with one hand, which is something that would benefit you if you're using this in a work environment where your other hand may be taken. Same type pivot area, although there's only 2 contact points instead of 4. Still funky. You still need, you know, kind of chopstick style to rotate that if you want to adjust it. But on this one, let's talk about the pocket clip. Much better pocket clip, flares out in the bottom, easy to hold in the pants, and as you see here, will hold about 4/5 of the knife inside your pocket, which it's supposed to do. All right, so I'm all for this pocket clip. Works just fine for me. It's a better pocket clip design. Overall, it just feels a lot more sturdy in the hand. This feels like good, you know, aluminum. Doesn't really feel like stainless, but just super thick, super heavy duty. It has a little bit more heft to it, which I really like. Overall, it just feels like more quality. As far as removing the blades on this one, you have a little, instead of pushing a button or sliding a button up, you push this button down, and same deal. It's gonna basically lift up the piece inside there to unlock from the teeth here. And you have the same capability. When the knife gets dull, you can flip it around and use the other side. Okay, so now you have a fresh blade without actually having to, you know, take out the blade. Same jimping underneath for this action, only it is slightly curved and it is much better jimping, and it's also a larger area. All right, extremely, extremely comfortable to use it like this. If I were to shave wood or something, like I said, maybe even sheetrock, you're taking off a little bit off the edge or something, super comfortable in this grip and very comfortable in this grip. Okay, nice little palm swell in there, pointer finger kind of, you know, hits that spot right there, almost like a slight finger choil. Just feels really comfy in the hand. Like I said, super thick. I love this knife. As far as a cheap utility knife, because there are better ones than this that are more expensive, but a cheap folding utility knife, you can't go wrong with this large Husky brand one. Like I said, less than 10 bucks from Home Depot. You get the replacement blades. This came with the knife for less than 10 bucks, and I think there's, I want to say there's 4 or 5 blades in here. I can't see, but there's got to be at least 6 or 7 blades actually. So, great deal right there. You really can't beat it. Don't bother with the cheap one. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller, but barely. I would not bother with this at all. It really is just barely okay, but next to this, it's garbage. All right, so don't bother with that. Find this one, which is really cool. But if you want to be even cooler, you get one of these, which I couldn't even tell you where I got this one. I know I got 2 of them and I gave one away, I think a year or 2 ago. This is a Balisong utility knife, which is friggin' awesome. And a little lockback design to remove that blade. I love this thing. And when I sold all my Balisong collection, this is one that I saved because when I use a utility knife, I literally grab this one every time. Okay, so when I'm not cutting, I can play around and flip it. So super sweet, awesome. I think this cost me $4, so I don't know, do an online search for Balisong utility knife, but just amazing. So if you can't find this one, go down to Home Depot and get the large Husky one. It's really cool, works great. So that's it for now. I will do more videos in the future on these because they're so widely available, because there is an interest out there. Like I said, not everyone who watches my channel is a hardcore knife nut. Not everyone watching my channel is going to spend $50 for a knife, $100 for a knife, $500 for a knife. Most people out there, I shouldn't say most, but there's enough people out there who watch my channel, which is supposed to be basically knives. I do everything, you guys know that by now, but predominantly knife stuff, right? Sometimes. There's still people who watch this who would not spend more than $30 on a knife, no matter what. All right, so this is going to pertain to them. This is going to be a useful knife for them. If you just, can't wrap your mind around sharpening a knife, get something like this, and when your blade goes dull, throw it out. Get a new blade. How easy is that? So anyway, that's it. I want to touch upon this a little bit. This will be the beginning of a long series. I will do other videos going in more depth, more detail on folding utility knives. This has been heavily requested by a lot of people. So if you're looking for a good beater knife, this is definitely worth it for $10. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care.